Anyone who works as a professional assassin knows one thing for sure. If you want to eliminate someone without leaving a single trace, the best way is to make the target's death look like an accident. Watch this man. He carefully pries away each ceramic tile in the bathroom. Then, he spreads shower gel all over the floor and conveniently rips the shower curtain. After completing these tasks, he takes a hammer from his kit made of the same material as the bathroom tiles. He aims precisely at the back of the target's neck. The scene cuts quickly. The target is now lying collapsed on the ground. The very next day, the news of a retired special agent accidentally slipping and falling to his death in his bathroom immediately shoots to the top of the search results. This isn't a lecture on crime, but scenes from an extremely gritty action film called Killer Elite, starring superstar Jason Statham. It's an intense film, adapted from the real-life assassination scandals of the British Special Forces. The story begins when Danny is on an assassination mission in Mexico. The target is an oil tycoon. As a master assassin who specializes in staging accidents, he, along with his mentor and friend named Hunter, teams up with Davis and Meyer to form a four-man assassination squad. Davis is responsible for intelligence gathering and route planning. Meyer handles logistics and ammunition supplies, while Danny and Hunter directly take out the target. The four work together flawlessly, never making a single mistake. But right after neutralizing the target, Danny discovers there's a child behind him. The helpless and bewildered look in the child's eyes makes Danny freeze on the spot. In just those few brief seconds of hesitation, the target's men manage to close in. Danny's shoulder is hit and he nearly loses his life. Although he ultimately escapes successfully, under Hunter's covering fire, this mission leaves an indelible psychological scar on Danny's heart. Therefore, he decides to retire. A year flies by. After retiring, Danny not only finds a new job, but also finds happiness with his girlfriend, enjoying a peaceful life with domestic bliss every day. But the peaceful days don't last long. One day he receives a letter. Inside is a plane ticket, an address in Oman, and a photo of a kidnapped Hunter. Hunter is not only his best friend, but also once risked his life to save Danny. With an old friend in trouble, how could Danny possibly stand by and do nothing? Following the address in the letter, Danny heads to Oman. An experienced agent known as the Agent has been waiting in a car. He informs Danny that in this region there's an oil sheik, filthy rich, who is offering a $6 million reward for a mission. With such a generous a payment, the level of danger is certainly off the charts. Hunter, after accepting the mission and taking the deposit, tried to bail. As a result, he was captured by the sheik's men. Now the only person who can save him is Danny. After understanding the full story, Danny goes to the sheik's luxurious manor. This Middle Eastern oil baron bluntly declares that his 3 sons were all killed by the British Special Air Service, the SAS. It was an assassination disguised as part of the oil wars. To protect his youngest son, his last remaining one, he had to give up his oil fields and was consequently shunned and exiled by his tribe. Now he is suffering from cancer, with only months left to live. At this point, money and power no longer matter to him. He just wants that after his death, his spirit can return to his homeland and his youngest son can rejoin the tribe. But before that, he must settle the blood debt for his 3 deceased sons. However, Danny's mission isn't just about killing people. He has to force the targets to record a confession video before they die, and he must also stage the scene to look like an accident. After all, his youngest son cannot be implicated. Once the mission is complete, the sheikh will not only forgive Hunter for taking the money and running, but will also release him and hand over the remaining $6 million. Seeing his old friend safe and sound, Danny can finally feel at ease. The two exchange a few brief words. Danny tosses a cup to the guard, telling him to get some water. Hunter advises Danny not to get involved in this, but he doesn't know that Danny already has his own plans. After getting the guard's gun, Danny knocks on the door, signaling he wants out. The guard at the door is completely unprepared. The moment he opens it, he's subdued by the 2 men. After dealing with the guard, Danny grabs the silencer from the chair. The 2 immediately retreat, but Hunter's gunshot directly blows away their escape route. It's true what they say, you don't fear a godlike opponent. You fear a useless teammate. The gunshot attracts more guards. In the narrow tunnel, deafening gunfire erupts. Both sides engage in a fierce shootout. Hunter provides cover fire, while telling Danny to find a way to open the steel door behind them to escape. Danny kicks the door with all his might, but to his surprise, the sheikh's youngest son is standing right behind it. A wise man knows when to yield. In this situation, Danny has no choice but to abandon the prison break and obediently carry out the mission. Shortly after, Danny heads to Paris to contact his 2 former teammates, Davis and Meyer. After all this, time's targets are the most formidable men in this military. Danny promises them that after the job is done, he won't take a single cent of the entire $6 million. It's all theirs. Hearing this, both of their spirits are instantly fired up. However, the sheikh only has information on one person. His name is Harris, a retired Special Forces soldier who participated in the oil war in Oman. He is currently flying an armed helicopter in Sudan. Therefore, they decided to go after him first. Danny and Meyer go to deal with Harris, while Davis investigates the other two. Very quickly, Danny sneaks into Harris's bathroom, carefully prying away a ceramic tile. He then fashions a hammer from the same material as the tile. The plan is to use the hammer to kill Harris, staging the scene as an accidental slip in the bathroom. After preparations are complete, Danny brings Meyer along posing as television station employees, eyeing that they want to film a documentary about veterans for Harris in order to subdue him. Then they begin recording the confession video. At first, Harris still thinks it's a joke, so he cooperates and admits his crimes. However, when he realizes that Danny actually wants to kill him, Harris starts to panic. He frantically explains that the real person who killed the Sheikh's son is someone else. He was just the direct superior. That person even wrote a book about the operation in Oman, but Danny doesn't bother listening to these explanations. Without a word, he drags him into the bathroom, and the scene from the beginning of the movie unfolds. The first target has been cleanly taken care of. Next is the second target, Lincoln. To get information on him, Davis pretends to be an SAS member, goes to a bar and intentionally talks about the old oil war. This action immediately attracts the attention of those around him. He then seeks out an artist to ask for information, but his accent gives his identity away. Actual SAS members have a distinctive accent and vocabulary. The artist leaves, but is actually sneaking off to call and report to someone. Davis realizes something is wrong and acts decisively. He uses a paintbrush to break, and then stab through the artist's carotid artery. At the artist's house, Davis finds a detailed file on Lincoln. Gret Lincoln is an active member of the SAS, having just completed 3 months of hellish training. He is currently in peak physical condition. Things start to get more complicated. He is frequently stationed at a centralized military base and almost never goes out. But these things can't deter a professional like Danny. If his physical condition is at its peak, then just make it worse before finishing him off. However, just as he's about to leave, Danny suddenly notices someone secretly taking pictures from a distance. Knowing his position is compromised, the other man immediately turns and runs, escaping through a pre-designed tunnel. It turns out that when Davis was investigating at the bar earlier, he had been noticed by a secret organization called the Feathermen. This organization is made up of retired Special Forces veterans, men who have made a fortune in dirty money through shady operations. Now they have successfully laundered their pasts, becoming elites in the business world and financial magnates, respected by society. Seeing Davis digging up the past, the Feathermen sent Spike, an elite member, to investigate what these people's true intentions are. Although Danny knows he's being followed, the job still needs to be done. He disguises himself as a doctor, sneaks into a pharmacy and successfully obtains a vial of insulin and a reaction-slowing drug from a nurse. But just as he's leaving, he senses someone secretly tailing him. Danny doesn't flinch. He suddenly reverses and shoots out of the parking lot, then floors it to shake his tail. But his opponent stays right on him. Seeing that he can't shake him so easily, Danny suddenly accelerates and turns into a small alley. Taking advantage of his opponent's collision with a pedestrian, he executes a stylish drift, bringing the car into a hospital, then quickly gets out and goes deep inside. Spike, close behind, also rushes into the hospital. The moment Spike pushes the door open, Danny suddenly launches an attack. However, his opponent is clearly also a top-tier fighter. During the fight, Danny is even put at a disadvantage. After successfully subduing his opponent, the hospital's alarm also goes off. To avoid any further unnecessary trouble, Danny didn't finish Spike off, but immediately left the scene, bringing the 2 vials of medicine back to base. The next mission is to find a way to infiltrate the military base, where Lincoln is stationed. Luckily, Davis once served at this base, so he is extremely familiar with the guard positions. Under the cover of darkness, Davis pretends to be a truck driver delivering goods to the outer perimeter of the base. Taking advantage of the truck's stop, Danny immediately climbs out from the front and jumps inside. He then disguises himself as a soldier to blend into the ranks. Because the people training here are all elites, selected from different units. They don't know each other. This is a golden opportunity for Danny. During lunch, he deliberately sits opposite Lincoln. Taking advantage of his carelessness, he pours the prepared drug into his coffee cup. Lincoln, completely unaware, drinks it all. After that, Danny continues to follow the training troops, staying close behind Lincoln. 2 hours later, the drug starts to take effect. Lincoln's limbs go weak and he collapses to the ground. Seeing the time was ripe, Danny immediately moves in to record the confession video and then finishes him off. The Sheikh is extremely satisfied after watching the video. Not long after, the news of Lincoln's sudden death makes the headlines of major media outlets. This completely infuriates Spike, because Lincoln was once his brother in arms. In another development, Danny has found the third target. This man's name is Simon, a former SAS major. Due to an injury on the battlefield years ago, after retiring, his job search was constantly met with obstacles, causing him to become depressed and a wreck. He not only drowns his sorrows in alcohol, but also frequently gets into fights. Just as Danny is figuring out how to handle him, Spike unexpectedly appears. There, he offers words of comfort to Simon, has a brief chat, then leaves so as not to alert the enemy. Danny adjusts his plan of action. He tells Davis to use a recruitment company's name to invite Simon for an interview, while he himself will strike on the road that he must take. Because he chose to strike on the road, the vehicle is the key to the whole plan. They then secretly sneak into a transport company and secretly install a remote control device on a truck. To ensure the mission's success, they even specifically find a rookie to drive for Meyer. The next day when Simon drives out, the truck with the control device also leaves the warehouse. Seeing this, Meyer immediately follows to be ready to control the truck's direction. In this operation, Danny's mission is to drive and block Simon's path to control his speed, while Davis uses binoculars to observe the actual positions of the two vehicles, waiting for the right moment to strike. Under Davis's guidance, Meyer immediately activates the remote control device. The truck driver instantly loses control of the vehicle. The truck suddenly drives into oncoming traffic, heading straight for Simon. By the time Simon realizes the danger, it's too late. Just like that, Simon dies in the setup orchestrated by Danny's group. But just as Meyer gets out of the car to check the situation, he is unfortunately spotted by Spike's subordinate. Meyer and the rookie were just tech guys, with basic combat skills, unable to fight against Spike's men. Their only option is to immediately drive away and flee, but the enemy is close behind. Seeing that he can't shake them, Meyer has to stop the car and prepare to counterattack. He uses his gun to subdue the subordinate, but what no one expected was that the inexperienced rookie suddenly rushes out, blocking the line of fire, giving the opponent a chance to counter. The two sides immediately start brawling. In the chaos, the rookie picks up the gun from the ground and surprisingly takes down both opponents at once. Davis, who had just arrived as backup, is stunned for a few seconds. However, everything is considered to have gone smoothly. The final mission is complete. Now Danny just needs to go back and report to the Sheikh to be able to save Hunter and receive the $6 million. But no one expected that right after Danny left, disaster would strike. Davis, who thought the mission was over and he was about to get rich, immediately found a place to celebrate. Unexpectedly, several burly men suddenly burst into the room and subdued him. In an instant, these men were all Spike's subordinates. They were planning to take Davis back for brutal torture, hoping to force him to reveal Danny's whereabouts. But Davis would never give up without a fight. Taking advantage of the moment his opponent was closing the door, he suddenly counterattacked and quickly rushed out. The men saw this and immediately gave chase. Davis runs for his life onto the main road, but just as he's about to borrow a car from a bystander, his luck has truly run out. In another development, after meeting the Sheikh, Danny handed over the recorded video. The third target had been dealt with. He demanded that the old man release Hunter and pay the fee as promised. However, the Sheikh's youngest son only agreed to let Danny take Hunter first. As for the money, they would have to wait until it was confirmed that Danny hadn't killed the wrong person before payment. Danny doesn't hesitate for long, because saving Hunter is his ultimate goal. After that, Danny doesn't rest but immediately goes to find his girlfriend, planning to map out their future life with her. But that night, the Sheikh's youngest son suddenly calls, saying that the first target killed was not the culprit. The previous intelligence was incorrect. Now Danny has to redo the mission. Danny initially doesn't want to get involved any further. After all, Hunter is safe. But the other party tells him to look at his girlfriend's condition and then decide. Hearing that Danny's blood runs cold, he rushes upstairs to check and is horrified to find a bullet casing hidden in her hair. Fury erupts. He can't believe the other party could find out where he lives. He immediately wakes up his girlfriend, packs their bags, and flees in the middle of the night. After entrusting his girlfriend to Hunter's protection, Danny rushes to the Sheikh's manor. Upon meeting the youngest son, without any unnecessary words, he throws a book straight into Danny's hands and says this time's target is the author of the book. It seems what the first guy said before was true. This infuriates Danny immensely. Because of one wrong judgment, he had taken the life of an innocent person. This crossed his final line. But right now he has no other choice. He has to deal with the writer to finish the mission. Through thorough investigation, Danny learns that this writer will be holding a book launch in 2 days. He plans to take this opportunity to strike. But he doesn't know that this is all part of Spike's plan. It turns out Spike deliberately arranged the book launch to lure out the mastermind behind Danny. From there, to lure Danny out in order to avenge his brother, Lincoln. At the book launch, Spike has heavy security deployed, both inside and outside the hall, while keeping the real writer right by his side, planning to play the waiting game. When he sees someone in a helmet enter the hall, everyone immediately goes on high alert. But as soon as that person pushes the door open, he is sent flying by a pre-planted explosive. Spike rushes over, removes the helmet, and discovers it's not Danny. It turns out this was just a decoy by Danny. By now, he has found the writer, shot him in the leg, and then knocked him unconscious with the butt of his gun. However, just as he's about to finish him off, the image of the little girl from years ago flashes in his mind. After a moment of hesitation, he finally pulls the trigger, takes a photo of the writer as evidence to report back. When Spike frantically rushes to the writer's room, his opponent is already lying in a pool of blood, no longer breathing. He immediately chases after him and sees that Danny has escaped to the rooftop. Danny leaps and grabs onto the railing of the opposite building, then climbs onto the adjacent roof. Spike fires back. Danny quickly slides down to escape the gunfire, continues running along the roof, and then jumps to the next building. But this building has no way down. Danny looks back to see Spike close behind. With no way out, he jumps to the next building once more. Luckily, his reflexes are quick, and he manages to grab onto a steel bar, avoiding a fall to the ground. This terrifying scene is witnessed by a woman in the building. Her scream gives away Danny's location, shortly after Danny is captured. However, at this very moment, Spike suddenly discovers that the writer is not dead. He immediately questions Danny's motive. When Danny doesn't answer, Spike kicks him to the ground to vent his anger, landing a critical blow on Danny. At this point, Danny explains that he never intended to kill the writer, only knocked him out and took a photo to trick the sheik. He tells Spike that this is the best outcome. If the sheik knew the writer was still alive, he would surely continue to send assassins. If Spike just takes the photo back and delivers it, the $6 million will be split with him. Hearing this, Spike prepares to leave, but is stopped at the door by an old SAS veteran. The old man forces Spike to kneel, thinking he has already won. He doesn't bother hiding it and reveals the whole truth. The sheik wanted revenge for his son, so the Queen of England made a deal with him. They were willing to sacrifice 3 lives, including Harris and his accomplices, in exchange for the rights to local oil exploration, with the profits split evenly. Although the sheik was unwilling, he couldn't stand against an entire nation. So he orchestrated the drama of Danny versus the 3 soldiers. Now they are just waiting for Danny to complete the mission so the sheik can have his revenge, the youngest son can return to the tribe, and then everyone can happily drill for oil. But because Spike kept interfering, he was forced to eliminate them, both. Just as the old man was gloating, Danny suddenly attacked. A 3-way brawl ensued. After a fierce struggle, Spike seized the opportunity to grab the gun from the floor and fired, finishing off the agent. Danny, seeing the situation was dire, jumped through the window, borrowed a car from a bystander, and quickly escaped. In another development, Danny's girlfriend was being tailed by someone, and that person was the agent. After dealing with his men, Hunter quickly drew his silenced pistol and aimed it straight at the agent, just as he was about to grab Danny's girlfriend. It turns out, as the broker, he wanted a piece of that $6 million, but he was afraid Danny wouldn't share, so he made this risky move. Hunter didn't kill him. He just warned the agent to stay away from them from now on. Finally, Spike followed Danny's advice and took the photograph to the sheik. As the old man leaned down to look at the photo, Spike sneaked up beside him and told the sheik the photo was a fake, then suddenly struck, killing him in an instant. The sheik's youngest son, wanting to save his own life, immediately expressed that he didn't care at all about his father's death, nor did he want to return to that poor backward tribe. Hearing this, Spike let him go and took the suitcase of money to leave. But he had no idea that Danny and Hunter had been lying in wait outside, monitoring every move. Seeing Spike take the money and run, Danny's group immediately gave chase and quickly closed in. Hunter pulled out an automatic rifle and fired, a volley of bullets blowing out Spike's tires, forcing him to stop. Getting out of the car, Danny pointed his gun at Spike, while Hunter retrieved the suitcase from the car. Inside was the $6 million. Danny had absolutely no interest in this money. He did it all just to save Hunter. Hunter took a few stacks as compensation for his days in captivity. The rest was left for Spike. Danny also spared Spike's life, because Spike killed the sheik. His future days would surely not be peaceful. Spike understood this well. With this money, he could change his identity and start a new life. At the end of the film, Danny drives to pick up his girlfriend and take her home. From then on, the two lived a happy life, together sharing simple meals every day. Although this film's score isn't very high, in an era filled with superheroes saving the world, it carries a very unique value. Jason Statham's Danny sheds the mindless bulldozer image, often seen in his films. He spends a lot of time running and in turmoil. He doesn't want to kill but is forced to. He wants to save people but ends up inadvertently harming his friends. It is this sense of helplessness that creates depth for the character. And the film also imparts a moral. The greatest reward in the world isn't the number in your bank account, but having someone at home, waiting for you and always saving a plate of dinner for you. The value of a film lies in its reputation. The value of a film review lies in the feeling it evokes. Today's story ends here. Thank you for watching. What did you think of this movie? Please comment down below.